Hello and welcome to another video game story time with me, Sky Fellowship. Today's video, as you can see from the title, is a day in the life of a chronically ill gamer. This is the third time I've done the video. First time I forgot something, second time someone distracted me and I forgot something, so I've actually wrote a list down this time so I can kind of go in order. And the first thing I actually need to say, this isn't even wrote down, this is just part of the I guess warning on the intro. I understand these stories are not for everyone. I understand that's actually the whole point. I am catering or trying to cater towards a niche of chronically ill people, of people who have history of mental illness or physical illness or anything at all. That's kind of what this channel's becoming. That's the whole point, because I have went through a shit ton of battles and go through a shit ton of battles on a daily basis. Daily life is suffering and pain, and it gets very hard to be able to voice this because the people who do want to hear it are also people who live like this, and that's kind of who I'm targeting here. But the people who don't obviously just see it as moaning, whinging and complaining, and it's like, no, we're just trying to explain exactly how fucked things are. So I'm going to start with the fact that there's a video already up, how video games saved my life, and there's a video up, at least should be up, about video game addiction for Destiny 2. Sorry, Destiny specifically. And those two videos are going to get a little touched upon here. You don't really need to have said anything. You just need to understand that at 11 years old, my life kind of ended. I was hit by a car, suffered from some very major physical and mental traumas, to say the least, and it absolutely ruined things. So my daily life, basically, ever since I was 16, I was told you will never ever manage to do a job, hold a job, work or do anything. All of that has been so true, it's unbelievable, because yeah, as you'll probably learn real quick, I don't think I'd be employable by anything or anyone, and I can't exactly even see it like YouTube or anything, because firstly, my channel has never been monetized, will never be monetized. All the stuff that I plan to talk about, especially in this video, is the kind of thing that does actually get your channel demonetized, but I don't care about that, because this is a hobby designed to try to help people. And I'm going to say, therefore, I really couldn't manage YouTube. I mean, for fuck's sake, to be fair, I'm breaking my own thing, but don't worry, this is why I've got the list, I will return. I'm breaking my own stride, because I actually have been a YouTuber before. Not 15 years ago, it's been 17 years since my last upload, is what I was trying to say. So, yeah, I managed to basically upload videos with some regularity for about 3 years, and then immediately had some major life setbacks and had to stop doing this. So it's like, nothing in my life is reliable. I can never be reliable to anyone or anything. Maintaining friendships is almost impossible, because I don't have the emotional bandwidth to be able to actually put time into another person the way that I especially can, because I am the annoying thing is, I'm a really good friend, but that means it drains me more. I will listen to you forever and a fucking day. I will remember every last thing about you. I am that kind of fucking person. You tell me something, I will make damn sure that if it's important, that I make sure to commit it to memory. I'm a gifter when it comes to the 5 love languages. I gift people based on things that are really fucking important to them. I truly do take so much of an interest that it means that I don't have enough time for myself, and unfortunately I already don't have enough time for myself because of all of the millions of issues that are wrong and things that are destroying my daily life. So yeah, I can't really maintain a friendship or anything. It's really fucking shitty, which can obviously lead to some severe depression, and I'm going to be discussing that and suicidal tendencies and thoughts later on. I'm not going to go too full into detail. I'm just going to say I have actually attempted to take my own life a long time ago. In a much better space now, but it's something heavy that a lot of chronically ill people fucking deal with, because firstly, we have severe loneliness at times, and secondly, we have all of this pain. So let's start with my actual daily routine. Morning is one of those. It can go one of multiple ways, to be honest. Everything here is going to kind of be, I'm not thinking Venn diagram, I'm thinking whatever a branching path is. If A, then B. If not A, then C, type thing. So on a morning, my average morning, wake up, most days I do manage to wake up either around the time of my alarm, or like my alarm going off will wake me. But every now and then you get a day where a migraine wakes you, and severe pain just starts your day. And I'm going to use migraine as a catch-all here. My neurologist actually said I have 9 different kinds of headache. I'm incredibly greedy this way, unfortunately. Some of them might be down to my severely fucked vision, which I might as well mention that straight away. Keratoconus, I have it in both eyes, and it is, I think it's classed as a degenerative eye disease or something. It's an eye issue. Basically, my vision changes daily. It will only ever get worse and never get better. And eventually I may need major surgery just to be able to kind of see, but they don't do that because of the risks around it unless you are truly so blind it's unbelievable. And that's the fun thing about keratoconus. You'll never go 100% blind, but everything will, the vision-wise, will be so smeared it might as well be blind. And there's a lot of people who actually lost their sight after having keratoconus who I've spoke to in sport groups who said, I actually find it being easier now that I can't see. So yeah, it's not a nice eye one. It really isn't. It can hinder pretty much everything about my daily existence, from cooking, because knives, hot things, anything like that sharp, anything that could burn or scald, injury prone all the time, constantly covered in bruises and cuts, not knowing where I get them. Yeah, that's a fun one. The eye thing is now kind of done though. It's just something that you'll kind of have to keep in mind, because seriously, when I get to a section about chores, everything in life is harder with one of these issues, let alone all of them. So let's get back though to waking up. If it's a good day, I don't have to start the day with painkillers. I still have to start the day with 8 separate tablets, pills if you will, but on a bad day, that can go up to 14 depending on the severity of the pain and the amount of pain medication that is required, and the kinds of pain medication, because every headache has its own little thing. I also am a medical marijuana user, and that is great for most kinds of headaches, but some kinds it just doesn't help at all. Some days are just a suffering day, and it doesn't matter what I do, I'm going to be in the wars from day, like minute 1 to... I'm not going to do the math of how many minutes are in a 16-hour day for 2 reasons. 1, I don't want to be doing that live on air. 2, my day is never 16 hours. Almost ever. I will either be so exhausted from the pain that I crash out early, or the pain will be so bad that I'm still awake for 24, 48, 72 hours. Hence, I flake on a lot of things, and it becomes really hard to maintain a friendship. I'm usually awake during the night, so I end up watching American sports, specifically hockey. I am a huge Colorado Avalanche fan. And I know I'm jumping all over, but again, this is just the way my brain works, and it's the way that one thing leads to another, and I have to get it out, so otherwise I'll forget. And that is why I have a list to constantly remind me to go back. So, starting purely with meds, 8 on a good day, 14 on a bad day, somewhere in between on an average day. Also, copious amounts of marijuana usage. The worse it is, the more frequent that I have to basically get baked out of my skull. It's very rare that I ever have a day without painkillers. Or without marijuana or anything. When I first got the marijuana, that's actually the longest I'd managed to have a painkiller spell of breaking from them. And withdrawal is fun. It really is, and I mean that obviously perfectly sarcastically, because holy shit, withdrawal is absolutely brutal. They've had to, like, my doctors will sometimes use me as a guinea pig and take me off things and put me on things, and going through withdrawal is really, really fun. I know obviously all of this might sound like I'm addicted to painkillers, and I actually wish that was the case, because that would mean it was a conscious choice of something I could fucking stop doing and get rid of. Unfortunately, it's really not, and I know this, and this is why I mentioned the addictive video game side of things, because I do have addictive tendencies with certain things, and painkillers have never ever once been one of them. There are days when I am absolutely overjoyed that I managed to take none whatsoever, and I try, like, when that happens, I try to keep that going as long as possible so that I'm not pumping these chemicals into me, but that rarely lasts longer than 2 days, and the last time that happened was like 2 years ago at this point. So yeah, it's just one of those marvellous things about daily chronic illness with the amount of pain management. And that's before I get onto all of the gut issues and gut meds. My stomach decided to not like solid food suddenly, so my diet became 2 protein shakes and a couple of protein bars, which was helpful because cooking, again, severely dangerous, so at least that kind of helps out. It does mean I eat basically the same processed shit every single day of my life, but thankfully at least the ones that I use I like the taste of, and there's enough variety. I really can't complain too much because there's people who've definitely got it worse. I know for a fact they have. So gut means I also need to take meds for that. Pretty much before and after every meal I have to take things because of my stomach. So yeah, it's by the end of a day I can be upwards of 30 pills. Like, I wish that was a joke. Like, it's seriously fucking awful being chronically ill. I've been like this for decades. I'm not even fucking 40 yet. I dread to think what's going to happen when I'm in my 90s, if I manage to make it that far, because, well, again, that's another thing with chronic illness and sleep deprivation and all of these other things where people keep telling you you've got to do this, that, and the other to stay healthy. I love doing cardio. I haven't managed to do cardio for about a month, but I do love doing cardio, and I do try to do it. Keeping any form of consistency and regularity with this can be a nightmare because of health issues that crop up as well. So yeah, on a morning that I manage to do cardio, I always do it on the morning, and if not, I jump straight into chores, so I'm at least trying to get some activity. If I have managed cardio, I'll still do chores, because I have to. The chores can take up to 2 hours, because everything is slower when you're in agony, or when pain suddenly flares up, or when you cut yourself without realising it, or walk into a door, or anything like that. It's, again, severely fun. And again, for the people who can't tell, that is sarcasm. So my morning tends to be that. On days when I don't do cardio, I'll try to read instead, which I know reading is not being active. It's exactly the polar opposite. I'm just lying down, like lying back, reading an e-reader, because an e-reader is the only way I can read. Firstly, the visual impairment. I need to be able to make text bigger. Secondly, it's the only kind of screen that doesn't fuck me long term for reading anything, which I will get to the fact that how do I even play games with all of this? I will. But I think that's kind of all of the morning section gone and done now. I'm looking at my notes very quickly. Yep, I've explained everything that needs to be mentioned in the morning section, including all of the tangents. So I'll get to lunch. Lunch obviously has to be a ready meal type thing that I can throw in the microwave. It has to be something that my stomach actually handles, which tends to be pasta. So pasta and sauce is pretty much the only thing that I eat, like of an actual meal on a daytime that isn't a protein shake or a protein bar. And yeah, that's about my diet every single day. I have some snacks before bed, and again, it all has to be stuff that I know my stomach has vetted and said, yep, you are okay with this. Weirdly, dairy at this moment in time is one of the few things that my stomach isn't revolting against, and that's probably just as well, because I basically have cheese and crackers for a very light bedtime snack. So yeah, once I've sorted lunch though, and sorted all of the meds in between, I'll be at the point of I could finally sit down and actually play something for the day. So I'll put on something, be it a loading game like this, just something high score based that I need to focus on, or put on, if it's a pain day, something like a turn-based strategy where I can really take my time with it. I'll try to avoid things with obviously flashy lights, and like this game here is an absolute awful one to ever play when I'm in severe pain, but I put it on here because it's called Wraith. It's brilliant, and I wish more people knew about it, and I thought if ever I've got a chance to showcase it, and I'm never going to be doing an amazing run on this. I actually at some point managed to hit top 50 in the world or something. I severely doubt I'll be anywhere near that close now. But yeah, it's called Wraith. It's a really good fun arcadey shooter, and it's brilliant. So, I'm 52. I've only dropped 2. Not bad. So, yeah, it's... Oh, I'm going to quickly adjust as well, because this is another problem. Spines, joints, and things like that can start to hurt depending on how you sit for how long. So, all of this to say, games depends on a different varying thing. Like, you'll have seen the channel over the years. I will play pretty much anything and everything, but pain definitely dictates what I play on a certain day. There are games that I've still never managed to finish, because by the time I finally felt up to playing them again, it had been so fucking long. I'm like, how do I even jump back into this? It's really annoying when a game gets ruined for you because of that shit. But I managed to stick to a lot of either indies or things like Resident Evil. Resident Evil's great to play when you've got a headache because you're in so much pain. The fear factor really doesn't come into it. Like, my reaction times get so shot from the marijuana and from the pain and everything that it doesn't matter if a giant zombie monster thing jumps out at me. I'm like, yeah, this is an enemy. I will shoot you and kill you and move on with my day. So yeah, I think that's kind of the afternoon portion mentioned and what I actually can do from a game standpoint. Again, I can't go like too far into this. There's like millions of games, millions of genres, so many different things, but you could probably piece together that certain genres are definitely easier to do than others. JRPGs, anything turn-based, anything with a lot of reading can be a problem though. So it's like, it's all this fine-tuning dance of what am I up to on that day, what requires some brain effort, some processing power, what I can just mindlessly play, what's going to have flashing lights as an issue, what's going to have anything like that. It's just a juggling thing. So what I will say is though, because the gaming is pretty much the only thing I do throughout most of the day, because gaming's an afternoon thing and an evening thing, I spend maybe 6 hours playing something a day. Like, 6 hours may seem like a lot, but it used to be a lot more than that, but when I had less things to do in a day. So 4 to 6 hours, I'd say, on average day. It means that I'm pretty damn good at a hell of a lot of different genres. Again, like, this isn't the most sold game in the world, it's why I'm hoping to try and plug it here, but top 52, and that was, just, I know fine well I could do a better run, I haven't got around to doing it for a while. It's the sort of game that the more you play it, the chances are you'll have a longer run. So yeah, I'm going to willingly let myself get eaten here so I can move on to my next set of notes. So evening is when the second set of chores come around. Obviously, as you can imagine, from the anything cooking and scalding, I cannot have warm drinks, so I basically don't make hot teas or hot coffees or anything like that. I have cold brew tea sometimes in the summer. I have cold brew coffee that I make during the, like, pretty much every time because I need the caffeine for the ADHD factor of it. And that is one of the most dangerous things I do, and I wish I could find a plastic jug that actually works for this, because I have to take so much extreme care that I'm always gripping the jug like so tight it's unbelievable, because if pain or anything knocks me and causes me to start to feel dizzy or potentially fall down the stairs, or if my eyesight is an issue, or if I slip on the floor or slip on ice. Obviously I'm not doing cold brew out in ice, but that's a real life thing that happened to me. I slipped on some ice, knocked a woman over with her coffee, and I didn't even see her. I didn't see any of that, to the point of I thought I'd fell into a wall or something, and then it was like, oh shit. So I had to really diffuse her, and thankfully I'm not going to say she was understanding, but I did offer her to pay the coffee. She was fine, and she swore a lot of things, and it's like, yep, like, I kind of can't really blame you here. So yeah, it means that if I've got a glass jug in my hand, I started to choke on my own spit there, sorry. A glass jug in my hand. I have cut myself and had shards and splinters of glass in my hands before that I've had to try to then use tweezers to remove. Like, all of this fun stuff, like everything to do with daily life, is so much harder and so much more dangerous, and hence why I would kill to be able to find a cold brew jug that is rated for it, that's actually made of a safe plastic, because at least that way, if I ever drop it, it doesn't matter, it's not going to break, and if it does break, it's not going to break to a dangerous degree. So do some more chores in the evening, get back to playing some games, and then the night time. Ideally, I love to read before bed as well, so I try to read on the morning, and if I don't read on the morning, I definitely try to read on the night, but if I've read a ton on the morning, I'll sometimes skip it on the night because of hockey. So I'll usually be watching the Avalanche during Avs season, and when I'm not watching hockey, I will try to play a couple more hours. I'll probably do, like, have the snack, play for an hour, maybe an hour and a half, read for an hour, try to go to bed. And obviously, again, all of that revolves around pain. This isn't even including the fact that when my sleep cycle gets fucked up, which is common, it is so very, very common, it's unbelievable. I can go from waking up at 4 in the morning to going to bed at 4 in the morning in the space of 2-3 days. Like, it really is, it can fuck up so quick. So then the only way to actually fix it is for me to just basically stay awake as long as I can. So it could be in agony, exhausted, but I need to stay awake and the pain's helping me stay awake, so I'll be awake for 18-20 hours, or it might be that the pain knocks me out and it takes longer to get round, because it can truly be a case of just stay awake for 18 hours, go to bed for 8, stay awake for 20 hours, go to bed for 8. 8 is always a luxury, I never get 8, I average 6, but I try to lie in bed for that extra time because resting can help. Not really, but sometimes. And sometimes I get so bored of lying doing absolutely nothing, I'm like, I should get up and do something. Because this is now to go back to the sidebar of, again, people are probably wondering, I know you've said with all the different things of games, but how could you, like, when I get a migraine, it wipes me. Yeah, this is my daily life. I'm not going to say I've got a tolerance, I'm still in agony, but if I just sat in a corner in a dark room doing fuck all day, this is when the suicidal things kick in the worst, because I feel like my entire life is just being wasted. So I might as well do something, because either way I'm going to be in pain, either way I'm going to be in agony. Cardio doesn't so much make it worse, but it does make it better, and some days the cardio makes me want to vomit. Because some days the pain makes me want to vomit, and that's why I'm glad that I've got the marijuana, because eating is a real chore when you are this fucked with pain. There's all of these little things that dance around, so yeah, it's why I do play games. It's because, like, what the fuck else am I going to do? So yeah, I think that's basically most of nighttime done as well, and I do worry I've cut myself off and I'm not going to get that train of thought back, but I don't think anything important's been forgot this time. So nighttime, though, just to reiterate, if it's a hockey day, I'll watch hockey. If not, I just chill out, play a game for a little bit and try to read and hope for some sleep. And yeah, that's basically my daily existence. I'm now going to mention a couple things that I've got nowhere else to put them in the video. All of this does not include when I get flu, when people in the house bring COVID in. All of those things are made 10 times worse by being chronically ill. If you think the flu knocks you for 6 when you don't deal with this shit on a daily basis, it ruins your life. Any little minor stress, any little anything to just add extra difficulty to a day can make it feel soul-crushingly brutal. In October, all of my October and most of my November, I was spent basically living in a storage room shoebox, sleeping on the most uncomfortable bed, because the wind ripped part of my roof off, and rain started pissing down over where I slept. It took them weeks to finally be able to send people out to repair it. It meant that I wasn't in my own bed, and I need an orthopedic mattress because of a lot of issues. What I was sleeping on was not rated for my size at all, even remotely. My spine got fucked up, my everything got fucked up, quite frankly. It was awful. And all the time, I'm still having to manage with all of this daily fucking pain and everything else. It was some of the worst weeks of my fucking life, and yeah, it's fun. And I don't say this to just complain, and I don't say this for pity, because complaining doesn't help. Like, it really doesn't, because who actually cares? The only people who are going to watch this are the people that, again, I'm targeting, because I am building to this. But the oh, I've lost my own train of thought. So complaining, pity, there we go. Pity doesn't do anything for me either. I don't give a fuck if you pity me. I would actively say don't. Save your energy for something else, because pity doesn't do me any good either. So none of this is said for pity. All of this is said because I am trying to make a channel for the freaks and the geeks of the world, for all the people who have things that you cannot fucking discuss without YouTube throwing a hissy fit and saying, oh, I'll demonetize this and I'll demonetize that. So people say the word grape instead, and people say PDF and all of these things that you're not allowed to say and you're not allowed to bring up. And I want your stories. I want you to interact in the comments. Again, not because it'll boost engagement and I'll get money out of it. I'm never going to make a fucking penny out of this. And I'll get to this section as well. I might as well do this segue. It's why there might be some people out there thinking, well, you've said you can't work, but you put YouTube videos up. I put YouTube videos up, as I say, for 3.5 years and then had to take a 17-year break. On top of the fact that my channel is toxic to sponsorships and anything like that, you're basically saying, why don't you just play the lottery? You only need to win one lottery ticket and you're set for life. You know, that's not how that works. This is not a viable career for anyone. And the people who do make it a career do so much more work than I can ever do. Just recording this video is going to wipe me out for the rest of the day. Recording more than one video in a day is extremely rare for me. I've managed to set up months in advance content so that I had a leeway, so that now I'm at the situation where I can go 3 months without recording anything and I'll still be able to upload with my usual regular schedule. And I'm actually increasing some uploads because of that, which might be silly, but at the same time I worry I'll have recorded something so far in advance that it'll be so untopical by the time it comes out. So instead, if I get to the point where I just can't upload for a couple of months and I've got absolutely nothing queued, then I'll just not upload anything for a couple of months and nothing will be queued. I might do a 10-second video of, yep, sorry, it'll be a while, you know? So, yeah. Hoping I can circle back now to what I was actually saying, though, with YouTube about boosting engagement, not wanting money and stuff like that, blah, 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 blah. Yeah, so I want your stories, basically. I want you to post what your daily existence is if you are chronically ill. The shit that you have to put up with, the stuff that you're not allowed to talk about anywhere else. Because I want to kind of create that kind of safe haven and create a community. I would love to say I'd be able to run a Discord, but quite frankly, I don't know if I have the fucking energy to run a Discord these days. I tried that during the pandemic when it was the only thing on my mind, and it burnt me the fuck out after 18 months to the point of I just had to leave it all. It's just one of those things. I try to do different things to help people, to connect people who need it the most. And it's what I'm hoping to do with this channel, to essentially create a safe space for people who can just come on and bitch about their day and not feel like they're going to be fucking blocked or banned or anything because no one wants to hear me complain. I don't give a fuck. Not that I'll ever manage to stream. There are times when you want to come to places where you have a social group, a friend group like this, and be able to just say, I'm having a really shit week. I've got like this, that, and the other going on. Like, and people are just like, oh, keep it on topic or anything. And I get that. You don't want to derail. And especially those sorts of videos, because people do want the money. So they're not going to turn around and then actually engage you in it. I want to try and engage with these things. I want to try and help. I'm essentially a therapist friend to people as well. And I'm not offering that to anyone. That is one of the fastest ways to ruin your fucking mental health. Trust me when I say I know from first-hand experience. There's videos up that go into this in more detail. But I unfortunately still am a therapist friend, and it's something that I try to look at the angles. People do say the whole, you never know what battles people are facing. Yeah, you really don't, and unfortunately people seem to think that that means that you should shit on people who are having a bad day. Sometimes you witness people having the worst day of their life, and then you judge them on that one day, and all of that shit's bullshit, personally. Now, I'm not saying that some people's bad days are like safe at the end of the day, because let's be real, there's different bad days and different things. Like if you go on a rampage, for example, yeah, that's no good. If your bad day is just breaking down crying in a shopping centre and you think that the person's crazy, like maybe they're just really having a shit day, you know? So if you're seeing this part of the video, then it means that I've figured out how to actually find an editing software thing that I can manage. I'd literally just mentioned in the video that it should have cut from about the shopping centre. That should have been my reminder. I can't believe I forgot this in the original take. Basically, as much as I was saying about about cardio, I kind of need to say it was VR cardio, because I don't leave the house, and I'm not joking with that. The pandemic was bad enough for me. I got COVID twice thanks to the people I live with, and COVID gave me some long-term things, because just what I needed, yet more problems in my life. But I've always had severe anxiety, social anxiety, complex PTSD, and a bunch of other things that made the outside world a very not safe place for me. Add in the fact that capitalism and a bunch of other systems in place basically said that we weren't going to treat the pandemic seriously, we're going to rush everyone back to work, no one's going to take any responsibility or accountability with their own diseases, because at the end of the day, if you get sick, who cares, because I'm already sick. Like, that's just people's general attitude with things. So we cough on buses and sneeze on things because people have to go to work. And why do they have to go to work? Because how dare you work from home? And so yeah, I don't leave the house. I do doctor's offices, I do hospital appointments, and that's fucking it. Other than that, I stay indoors all day, and it really sucks. I am the epitome of, I guess, the touch grass meme. I truly do get that meme and understand why it exists. I never chose this for my life, like at any point, but this is definitely then one of those mental health issues of, I just don't think I'll ever leave the house again. I already had issues. Again, I already had severe issues. I needed someone essentially to be with me, to accompany me, and now I just don't even want to do that. I just do not go anywhere. And it fucking sucks. It really does. I get so sick of just essentially existing in a room all day. But that is my life. So yeah, that's the thing that I can't believe I forgot. Now I'm going to try to remember how I actually closed the video out last time. I will say that I understand these videos are not for everyone. But if you have made it this far, thank you for watching. I wanted to always rebrand the channel like this, as I see it, and do like target a niche that I felt was being ignored by a lot of people, because again, usually you get demonetized for saying all of this shit, and that's never an issue for me, because I truly cannot stress enough that I will never monetize this fucking channel. And I say that because I also see it. I understand there's some people out there who still actually watch my old vids. Apparently I get about 2,000 views a month. That has absolutely stunned me. I'm over the moon that my videos have stood a test of time. I'm over the moon that people still find them helpful for looking for classic game reviews and that. I can't promise you I'll ever go back to that. I most likely won't, because so many people do these things in a such better way. But I also know that stories like this are eventually going to run out. I'm not going to have much more to say one day, you know? So on top of the IGN 7 review video type things that I do, I will eventually have to add some other stuff to this channel if I want to keep it going for the hobby's sake of it, to give me something to do. Again, I never leave the house. I kind of am desperate for a creative outlet and something to do. So yeah, I'm glad those videos are still helpful to people, and if that's all you ever want to engage with and interact with, go for it. I'm happy for you. But I also know that that's not what this channel is going to be, and if you don't want to engage with any of the new stuff, that's also fine. I also don't know why you would have made it to this point in the video, but like, things can change, you know, and two things can be true at once. Those videos can still be what you might want to come to my channel for. The new stuff might not be. There might be people who only come for the new stuff and go, yep, why would I want to watch all of those classic reviews? Because those are not only old reviews by today's standards, like loads of people do other things in a much better way. I'm never going to say that I'm great at this. Another reason probably why I'll just never ever monetize things like that. That's probably one of the biggest reasons. I know fine well this is just an amateur doing totally hobbyist stuff. I'm never going to have amazing like cuts and scripts and everything like that. It's all of this comes out of my brain on the fly. It really does. And when you've got ADHD and a bunch of other things, you go to some weird places very quickly. So yeah, I think that's now the end of the video. Believe it or not, this hasn't actually elongated things that much, because I did waffle on a bit, and no doubt I'll then worry what if I forgot something else, but at least that's just the end point of the video, so if I forgot something, it truly isn't the important thing. So I'm going to say, once again, if you have made it this far, if this video has helped you out, interact with the comments section, not for engagement purposes, but for the purposes of, I want this to be a safe space. I want to reiterate that, where you can actually post things, where you don't feel like you can talk about anywhere else. I know fine well I'm never going to manage to do a stream. I'm now very worried this part's already in the video, so I'll do the quick version. I'm never going to manage to like do live streams or anything, but I also understand that on the side of friendship, sometimes you do gain friends and gain a community on these channels, and people don't interact, like, and you don't feel like it's safe to say, I've had the worst week because of this. Like, post that below. Like, post your daily struggles, essentially. It's what this video is here for. So yeah, thank you for watching, and as someone who doesn't have a lot of good days at all, and my good days are genuinely probably up there with some people's worst days. I've actually described one of my good days to a friend before, and they said, like, I don't mean to be rude, but you do realise everything you've just said about your good day still is worse than the worst day I've had in the past, like, 5 years. And it's like, oh, yeah, I know. I know. And again, I don't want pity from it. It's just, that's my life. That's what it is. It is what it is. I got the hand I'm dealt, and I'm doing the best I can with it. So yeah, I truly do hope you have a great rest of your day. And until next time, bye.